Hey you, the one staring at the screen. Make sure you stick around until the very end of this video to catch the mind-boggling ending. No pun intended. Over the years, we have had the opportunity to learn increasingly more about the human brain, and as we have our awareness of how each part of the brain functions has grown, and with it, misconceptions have also followed. Perhaps one of the most widely recirculated misinformations we have about the brain is the concept known as lateralization of brain function. Even if you have no idea what this term means, you were probably raised to believe it was true. The notion behind lateralization of brain function is the idea that the left brain and right brain inherently control a different, consistent aspect of human behavior. Many people identify as being left-brained if they are logical, analytical, and objective. If they are right-brained, they are more prone to creative, thoughtful, emotional, or subjective behavior. The truth of the matter is far from this simplified, and in fact, what side of your brain controls which functions are more closely related to the dominance of your hands and your decision-making bias. The brain is divided into two hemispheres. However, most brain functions are spread out across both hemispheres, and in the case of visual information, the signal originates from whichever side of the body is opposite of where the visual comes from. In short, if you see someone approaching from your left side, a signal will be sent out by the right side of your brain and processed across both hemispheres of your brain before you would decide to greet them. If the person were approaching from the right-hand side, the signal would originate from the left side of the brain before the hemisphere worked together to inform your consciousness and carry out a reaction. Because of this intricate connection between the two hemispheres, both are absolutely vital for a long, healthy life. Or so experts believed. Among the 144.5 million people living in Russia today is a 60-year-old engineer who asked only one thing when his story went viral in early July of 2019. He wanted to remain anonymous and said, quote, "I have lived a normal life. Nothing worried me at all. And now I do not want any kind of popularity." While the man himself has managed to remain in obscurity, his story continues to amaze people all over the world. While we may not know his name, here are a few things we do know about him. He grew up in Moscow during the Soviet era and showed no signs of physical or mental issues. He then went on to complete school and earned an engineering degree in university. He went on to find a job in his field of study, served in the Red Army, got married, had children, and retired. He was a model of normalcy. But one day at the age of 60, he began to have trouble moving one arm and one leg. Doctors assumed it was an ischemic attack. An ischemic attack occurs when an organ can't get enough blood to function properly. In this man's case, it was the right side of his body that was having issues, so doctors at the district clinic in South Moscow figured that a computer tomography of the man's brain would reveal ischemia on the left side, but nothing could prepare them for what they were going to find when they did a scan of his brain. In just a moment, we'll tell you what was discovered, but first make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon right now. After you click the bell, comment notification swab below, and I'll reply to all of you saying thanks, because I love you like that. After an anonymous Russian man showed up at a South Moscow medical center reporting difficulty in moving his right arm and leg, radiologists immediately performed a computer tomography of his head. They expected to find the damage present in the left side of his brain. However, much to their astonishment, it appeared that the left hemisphere of his brain was missing altogether. I mean, like, the entire left side is just gone. Now, the world of medicine has seen people who are missing pieces of their brain before, and while some are perfectly fine intellectually, nearly all of them suffered physical impairments. This patient was different. Not only was he missing a full half of his brain, but he was also seemingly unaffected. Doctors believe that his incredible ability to carry on a completely normal life is a result of when the abnormality formed, whereas many people who are born missing a portion of their brain have come upon the problem later in the gestation period. Dr. Anakina, who led his medical team, explained, quote, "In this recent case, we face a different situation, when the failure in brain development took place at an earlier stage of pregnancy, possibly in the embryo. Maybe it was blood effusion or some other dramatic event. It usually leads to miscarriage, but in this very unique case it ended quite successfully." At least that's what he continued to say. At this stage of pregnancy, the functions of the embryos are not assigned to certain centers in the brain. Certainly, this man's life is nothing short of miraculous, and his family is very grateful that he survived, I'm sure. That's our video for today, folks. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, click on that like button and also click on the 2 videos up above and maybe give us another watch. Have a good day, everybody. See you next video.